All right, welcome Monday night live stream, Unnecessary Roughness College Football Podcast. We're talking with the chat. We're talking to everybody. This chat brought to you by, well, actually not this chat, this entire show brought to you by, Casey, why don't you talk now?
High noon, hard seltzer. Also the chat. Maybe the chat is having a nice high noon. Jack and Katie, did the office get a new shipment in?
No.
Not yet.
I mean, travesty across the board. It's getting a little bit colder. It was rainy and gross today in New York. Perfect time to hunker down, cuddle up, drink a high noon. As everyone knows, I'm a peach girl, but I've been drinking more of the lime again, which I kind of got away from for a little bit for no reason specifically. Just I'm back on the lime. And then also if you're a tequila person, the tequilas are great. Great time to try all the new high noons when you don't want to go outside as much.
It's cool. Oh, go ahead.
High noon, been here since the start. It's a fall drink now. Summer's pretty much over. I mean, it is. I think even on the calendar, it's over. We are full-fledged ahead, focusing on fall, a high noon fall, and then we'll be ready for the winter as well. Shout out high noon.
And as we always say, it's not just a summer drink. Brandon, you may sit.
All right. You guys ready? So we'll talk our little college football stuff for a few minutes, and then we'll talk to you guys. So Colin J. and Sam Jakubowski and Ty Kern and Joseph Tremblay, Tyler Stanfield, Exploring with Ben and Sam, all you guys, we will give you your chance to talk. And maybe not, because all you're talking about is whether Casey and Katie are wearing pants. Keep it in your pants, boys. You horny fucks.
It's the same thing, like when you see like the guys at the desk when they're wearing like the suits and the jacket, and then they get up and they're wearing like basketball shorts or sweats. It's like because no one can see it. Like, who wears pants if no one can see you?
I'm wearing full dress pants right now.
Yeah, but you might be walking around your apartment.
Whoa,
or your house.
Whoa, hold on. First of all, Ty Kern, we're still going to win the state championship. All right, we're in 5A. We lost to the eventual fucking 7A state champions in Starkville, and we lost to Louisville. They're going to win 4A, so we're fine. We're going to win state. We're going to go state for the 8th straight year. Nothing's wrong with West Point. All right, we're in a tough area.
Brandon, you know what? Every time I think of West Point, Mississippi, the moment that when we were at the airport with Rudy, you remember when he looked at the map and you were showing him where West Point was, and he legitimately thought that's where like West Point is, and you convinced him of that? Yeah. Fantastic moment.
The military academy, yeah. He's a good-looking guy. Stupid as the day is long.
No, he's not.
All right, so college football. One little topic I wanted to talk about before we get into my questions and discussion starters that I've got for you guys. I said we'd talk about this Monday. I fucking love that Ryan Day went at Lou Holtz's old ass. I just think it's fantastic. I think it's wonderful. Lou Holtz might be 86 years old, but you shouldn't have popped off like that, Lou. All right. I listen. Ryan Day has been beat by Michigan the last 2 years, and he's been quiet. He's never really been a bombastic guy. I just love that Lou Holtz went on a show and said, "You guys are soft. You guys are going to lose." And Ryan Day is like, "Fuck you, Lou Holtz." I love that. I think it's fantastic.
It's funny. I mean, I think I butchered like explaining it to you on Saturday night. It was a long day, whatever. The thing is like a lot of people said all week that Ohio State was going to lose. It wasn't just like Lou Holtz was the only guy. Why choose like the old man? Why choose
Lou Holtz said you're going to lose because you're soft?
Well, he's in bed at that point. Like, it's soft to go after Lou Holtz.
Well, did you see like where he said it and how he said it?
He said it on the McAfee show, right?
Yeah, but did you see who was interviewing him?
Was it somebody? I didn't really see the whole
thing. It was somebody
Yeah.
impersonating Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
It was almost a comedy bit. And I don't know if Lou Holtz knew it was a comedy bit, but Ryan Day did not. And yes, these are the stories we love. And I'm glad he did it. It is insane that he went after a geriatric man like that.
I mean, a literal geriatric.
He's 86. He can't. I mean, I know he goes on Newsmax and stuff, but like, come on.
But Jack, if you're going to go after Notre Dame, you got to go after an 86-year-old. The average age of that fan base is dead. Like that's just, they're a bunch of old people.
It's really funny because like he won this massive game, and the way that they won it too, it wasn't like he had like an entire quarter where they had run away with it and had like time to think about what he was going to say. Like they won it at the very end, and he's going after Lou Holtz. Like, to me, it's like, come on, man, just like celebrate for a second. Like when he's like, I want to know where Lou Holtz is. The man is tucked in. The man has been dreaming for 3 hours at this point.
I think Ohio State proved on Saturday night that it is absolutely tougher than Notre Dame at the line of scrimmage as long as Notre Dame only brings 10 people.
Only 10. As long as they only line up with 10.
If you bring 10, Ohio State's tougher than them all day long. The funniest thing about that is they brought out 10 people and Ohio State still barely got in. Like it was still a question of whether he got in or not. But
Twice.
anyway.
They did it the last 2 plays. It wasn't even like they did it once.
Sorry to the guy who did it with Pat McAfee was Ty Schmidt. That's who was. I don't know who that is, but I guess a lot of people in the chat do.
Yeah,
the picture that Jack posted on Sunday morning when he was like, "This is the man that Ryan Day is beefing with," and it's Lou Holtz like sitting there on that set. He has no neck anymore.
That was when he said it. Like that's who literally.
The guy was funny. I got to give him credit for that.
Oh, who? Ty?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that guy Ty is, I didn't know his name, but the Lou Holtz, I mean, I tweeted out from the main account, we needed a Lou Holtz, Mark May, Reese Davis college football final on Saturday night.
Where's Mark May?
Mark May?
Where is he?
Oh, yeah. He is the ultimate Ohio State hater. Like, he's never hated anything like he's hated Ohio State.
Wait, was it?
Can I just stop real quick? Give y'all an instant replay. Jack said we needed a Lou Holtz Mark May college football final, and I said, "Where is Mark May?" And Jack went, "Who? Mark May? Who is that?"
No, I thought you said, "Who is Mark May?"
No, he thought you said, "Who is Mark May?"
I thought you were trolling me.
Oh no.
Did you see? I can't remember. Was it Ryan Leaf who went after Lee Corso on Saturday?
Jake Dickert, Washington State. I was going to bring that up.
Okay, because I think Ryan Leaf might have said something too. Did you see that, Brandon?
No, I didn't see that. I was busy Saturday winning bets.
Okay, well, so Lee Corso, and I actually saw the clip, and I think I saw it from Kirk Herbstreit's Twitter first, like people actually mad about it. He was talking about Washington State, Oregon State, and Lee said something along the lines of, it's the Who Cares Bowl. Right?
That word no one watches. I think it was one of
that's what it was. It was the nobody's watching. Whatever. Like he said something that nobody was watching, which it's Lee Corso. Like the man, again, like he's another guy that they just like keep rolling out there. I'm like, all right. But I guess like they took offense to it because
I bet they did.
But then Kirk Herbstreit said that's not what he meant.
Okay, but if Lee Corso, who's on the college game day, if he's going out there and saying the Who Cares Bowl about a fucking ranked versus ranked matchup, that's bullshit.
I think he said nobody wants us bowl is what I'm.
Well, that makes more sense. That makes more sense if he said that.
I don't think that's what he said. Well, anyways, it's just like at the end of the day, these coaches going after these old ass people is very funny.
Why are we talking about these 86-year-olds and the fucking old ass Lee Corso and old ass Lou Holtz? Let's stop talking about 86-year-olds.
He said no one watches bowl.
One last.
No one watches
on
bowl.
This. Ryan Day's nobody likes being from a place like Ohio. Motherfuckers like being from Ohio. He was Ohio. It was always Ohio against the world. Ryan Day grew up in New Hampshire, in New England. Yeah. He's me. He's literally me.
Yeah, this Ohio against the world, that's the first time hearing of that. I certainly don't look at Ohio and be like, poor little them.
They've really always worn those stupid little shirts, Ohio against the world. Why? Who? Nobody knows you. You go down to Africa, nobody knows who Ohio is.
Good point.
Good point, Jack. It's a really good point.
All right, y'all ready? I got some conversation starters.
Yes.
All right. Which one-loss team that I'm going to mention would you bet on to give the bet? Hold on. Which one-loss team do you believe has the best chance to make the college football playoff? Is it one-loss Alabama, one-loss LSU, or one-loss Notre Dame? Again, that is Alabama, LSU, or Notre Dame. If you're not familiar, Alabama lost to Texas at home. LSU lost to Florida State on a neutral site, and Notre Dame lost at home to Ohio State the other night. So Notre Dame, LSU, or Alabama. Casey, who?
I think Notre Dame. I think the way that game was played, and if Ohio State continues to play the way that they did, assuming like especially if Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship, and then Notre Dame's only losses to them, The thing with LSU and Alabama, first of all, I think I would go Notre Dame, LSU, Alabama, just because I think LSU is a little bit better. But they have to play Georgia, or barring some craziness, somebody else out of the East. But they're playing Georgia, and they already have losses, so they're going to have 2 losses because I don't think that either one of them are beating Georgia and Atlanta.
I definitely could see a world where if they're good enough to win the West, they could beat Georgia. That means that Georgia – I can see Georgia just not being as elite as we think they are. So I see that. I also think the answer is Notre Dame because I think they're the best team out of those 3, and they have winnable situations coming up. At Duke is not easy, but they can win that. At Clemson's not easy, but they should win that. And then home to USC is basically their season. If they're any count, they gotta win that one or it's over. So Jack, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Alabama. They
right.
have probably the most likely path.
Well, they're going to, after their second loss this Saturday?
Well, that's a great point. I didn't factor that into my model in my brain.
All right.
With that being said, 1 loss. Well, I guess Mississippi State has 2 losses now, so I can't even say Mississippi State.
Yeah, can't do it. Can't do it.
All that being said, though, I'm going with Alabama. They have LSU at home, but they do have Texas A&M on the road.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned that when Notre Dame, if they do beat USC, it doesn't look that good.
So USC's coming up in a minute. Hold that thought. Katie, Notre Dame, Alabama, Louisiana State University.
I initially had Alabama too, but then Jack has brought up with the 2 losses. I think it's Notre Dame. Like the 1 loss, it just makes sense. LSU, they're so up and down, where I think Notre Dame's been the most consistent so far.
And also, not to get into the whole conference championship argument here, because we've done that round and round and round. But Notre Dame, if they win out and don't have to play in a conference title, does benefit them. That is a good thing for them. So if they go beat the teams that we've laid out as their path, and then they sit at home on conference championship weekend, then they're the easy answer.
It theoretically benefits them, but could also bite them in the ass. Because
right.
if they were to get to the first Saturday in December and they're done and they're 11-1 in the barn, and 11-1 LSU goes and beats Georgia, Notre Dame's out. So,
right. That's the hypothetical. Like I'm just assuming that in this hypothetical, I have a hard time seeing Alabama or LSU beating Georgia in the SEC championship. So that's why, and then saying that Notre Dame would be sitting at home at that point.
Of these 4-0 teams ranked near the bottom of the top 25, who do you believe in the most? You're not coming up here, Katie. What was that?
No, there was
He's answering a question.
The chat kept asking.
I see. She's so involved in the chat. I didn't know she was participating with them. That's fine. I thought when I said the 4-0 team, when the 4-0 team, she was like holding up a North Carolina shirt. I didn't know what she was doing. All right. Of these 4-0 teams ranked near the bottom of the top 25, who do you believe in the most? Kansas, 4-0 Missouri, 4-0 Kentucky, who's not ranked, and 4-0 Louisville, who also not ranked. So Kansas, Mizzou, Kentucky, Louisville. Who ends up with the most wins?
Well, most wins. Tough. Is it best team or most wins?
Yeah.
Okay. Say best team.
Okay.
Jack, you go first.
Missouri.
Okay. Casey?
I want to say Louisville.
You can say whatever you want.
That's what I mean, again, I'm doing the SEC math in my head, but I'm going to go Louisville.
Catherine, statistics.
It would be Louisville over schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really disappointed by Kentucky so far. I get Mizzou by default.
Well, Louisville has the best schedule, right?
Well, yeah, you were asking for best team. I think Louisville has the easiest schedule, so I think they can have the highest chance of the most wins.
Jack, can you do some research? Can you go? I seem to remember a national college football guy back in like May and June saying that Missouri would start 5-0 and be one of the surprise teams in college football. Can you just real quick Google that and see who said that?
I'm actually typing it in right now. Oh, wow. Google gave me an answer right away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Brandon fucking Walker.
Said in May that you better watch Missouri this year because their schedule sets up for a 5-0 start. And by the way, LSU comes to town when they're 5-0, and look out, LSU. That's all I'm saying. All right.
You know how sick? Hey, imagine if they're still playing a Mizzou-Kansas game at Arrowhead like this weekend. Yeah. It would be, I think, just amazing. But Louisville may be better than – I think it's a Louisville and Mizzou, then a little bit of a drop-off.
So Louisville skated by Georgia Tech barely. They controlled Indiana, but didn't win by a whole lot, and then they destroyed Boston College. I can't remember who the shitty team they played. So Missouri has beaten Kansas State. Missouri has the best win of that group, right? Oh yeah, by far.
I mean,
Actually,
Kansas
Kentucky?
State by far.
Kentucky could be.
I think it may be Kentucky.
I think Kentucky's about to beat Florida this weekend, and I don't think it's going to be particularly close. If I look in the top 25 right now, there's 3 SEC teams with 1 loss, like 20, 21, 22, and I think all of them are overrated as shit. I think Ole Miss is overrated. I think Tennessee is 21 and Florida is 22. I think they're all overrated, and I think like Kentucky could be just as good as Florida and Tennessee.
It is when you look at, I mean, just all those teams obviously being in the East, like you look at, we talk about the SEC West so much and we don't necessarily know how that's all going to shake out. And then you have Georgia, and then it's like, okay, now what in the SEC East? We know Vanderbilt's probably the worst, but what does the rest of the SEC East shake out and look like? It's the SEC is just kind of a gigantic question mark outside of Georgia to me.
Kansas has somebody says Samantha Bell says Vols will be in Atlanta. Brandon Walker, idiot. Well, that's why we don't let women talk about sports.
Brandon.
All right. What happened?
Don't be misogynic.
I won't be misogynic. All right.
Don't be
Samantha,
misogynic.
thank you for being here. Thank you for Samantha Bell. I just ate a good joke just because I didn't want to be an asshole.
Good for you.
Just
We're
because I
proud
want
of you.
Was it a joke about us?
No, it was a joke about Samantha Bell and what she
Was
looks
it a
like.
joke
Okay.
about being misogynistic or misogynic?
Misogynic, yes. Okay. Of these 4-0 teams that are ranked higher, which one do you believe in the most? The Miami Hurricane, the Washington State Cougars, the Duke Blue Devils, or the Oklahoma Sooners?
I think Miami is my answer. I think
Okay. What's your answer, Casey?
Miami Hurricanes.
Can you say Hurricanes like Hurricane?
Hurricane.
Yeah, I like
Miami
saying
Hurricane.
that.
I'm very interested to see, when they really get deep into ACC play, what they look like. And again, Tyler Van Dyke, if he's as good as we thought he was 2 years ago, and he continues, and this is me maybe wishing upon a star that A&M is a lot better than they looked when they played Miami. I think that of those 4, I mean, those are all 4. And I know you don't like Oklahoma, but I think all 4 of those are decent arguments to be made. But I think it's Miami.
Well, Miami certainly has a decent win. Washington State definitely has the best resume so far of these teams. They have 2 pretty good wins. They have a Wisconsin win and an Oregon State win. Cam Ward is screaming up Heisman boards as we speak. Duke just beats the shit out of Clemson, and everybody forgets about him. And then I personally think Oklahoma's a fraud. Jack, what do you think?
Oklahoma.
Back
Do it,
that
Jack.
up, please.
Do it.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, Oklahoma.
Okay. Elaborate.
I think their fraud level is not as high as others. They have the talent, which we know.
Mhm.
Their metrics are actually pretty good. I think they have a veteran quarterback. Now, they're going to have a test really soon. Is it possible Miami? I would say Oklahoma's maybe a field goal better than Miami. Miami's right there. That being said, I do think Oklahoma is a team to be reckoned with. That's going to be a really tough game for Texas.
Yeah.
Not as hard as the Alabama game, but pretty close. It may even be a little bit tougher in ways.
Teams like Michigan and Georgia are just catching hell for their schedule. Oklahoma has one of the easiest schedules in the country this year. Their 4-0 record is a little bit fake so far. They beat SMU 28-11. That was a 3-point game midway through the fourth quarter. They covered against Cincinnati, because the line went down to get them inside the number. It's just I don't think their offense is good enough. I think Texas is miles better than them, but that's okay. They got a chance to prove me wrong. They could go 11-1, 10-2, and I look like an idiot. And that
They also, at some point, just because you hate a team enough doesn't matter. You have to be as talented as them. But they're going to go into that Red River shootout with hell to pay after the way they got embarrassed last year.
Well, and they'll have hell to pay afterwards because Texas is way better than they are.
I don't know if they're 50-0 better than them this year.
Has everybody answered that question?
Katie has not.
Okay.
I think it's definitely not Washington State just based on the schedule. I think Oklahoma, like Jack said, is also going to be the easiest. Duke, no. Sorry, no.
Duke could win the national championship, and Katie's going to be like, nah, they're not that great.
She doesn't like any team from North Carolina. She doesn't even like North Carolina.
Yeah, because you like Ole Miss.
No. That's not that. How is that the same thing? When I say you don't like your team, you don't even like your team.
I know. I was saying I don't like any school from North Carolina. You're not supposed to.
You're supposed to like your own team, Katie.
That
I
is
like
true.
them. I'm not gonna go banging a drum about them yet. They're
Why not? If my team was 4-0, I'd be beating that motherfucker
I
all
would
around
be,
here.
I would be going nuts.
They're gonna be 9-3.
This is why this show is bullshit. You know why? Because I got an A&M fan up there who'll be going crazy for 4-0. I got a Mississippi State fan be going crazy for 4-0. I got a UConn fan who would go crazy for 4-0. And I got a UNC fan saying, I'm just not impressed. Fuck that. All
I
right,
think
4-0.
the fact we found a UNC fan that watches football and doesn't give a shit about basketball. That's the anomaly here.
Be happy.
If A&M was undefeated going into this weekend, I would be obnoxious.
Because
I'm already
Miami
obnoxious.
ranked team. Wasn't Miami ranked?
No, they weren't. They are
No.
now.
A&M was.
All
Oh
right.
yeah, I'm happy, I'm excited, but I still think we're gonna be a 9-3 team.
I'd suck a dick for 3-1 right now, right here on stream. Would that get us kicked off YouTube?
Yeah, so quick.
Okay, well,
Don't say that.
We'll make it OnlyFans for you.
all right. I'll actually do another topic so I can read the ad further away from that last comment. Let's see. Which conference race?
That was good. That was good, Brandon.
Thank you.
That was
Thank you.
professional. Yeah, that's why you're the best in the biz.
Best in the fucking business. Which conference race is most compelling? And I'm talking about Power 5 right now. And I'm going to give you two because some races aren't compelling. I think Texas is going to walk the dog on the Big 12. I think Florida State has already kind of put a little bit of hay in the barn. But which conference race is most compelling? The three-team race in the Big 10 between Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan, or the absolute war out in the Pac-12 with 4 top 10 teams plus Washington State plus Oregon State plus a couple more probably. Which conference race is most compelling? The three-team race in the Big 10 or the Pac-12?
Easily the Pac-12.
That Big 10 three-way is going to be something.
The Big 10 is fascinating to me.
It's
Also,
very fascinating.
I'm going to be honest.
Go ahead.
Pac-12, like you guys gave up on yourselves. Like, should I? Like, I'm gonna care because I watch the Pac-12 race every year. We've watched it forever, but you gave up. Like, you guys all left. It's like it feels fake. It just it's like you're doing it for like a facade.
I think it's the Pac-12.
It is depressing that
It's so depressing.
the Pac-12 finally got good the year before they go away.
Finally got good again, and like not only good, like 1 or 2 teams good, like you just mentioned, like incredibly deep, and like all these like different teams that could screw up somebody else's chances. I think it's the Pac-12 because I still don't know who the best team in the Pac-12 is. I can make a guess, but we're gonna have to really see what that conference looks like.
Washington.
I mean, right now I think it's Washington. I had a USC fan so mad at me, being like, "Why are you jumping off the bandwagon already?" It's like, well, because I'm not jumping off the bandwagon. I've watched through 4 weeks. Like I believe that at this point I would choose Washington to win that conference. I had USC at the beginning of it, but Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, we're going to see how it plays out. But I also feel like at least I can speak for myself, and I'm assuming everybody in this like podcast as well. You kind of have an idea of who you think is going to win, and you're set on that until it actually happens. In the Pac-12, to me, it's like, I don't necessarily know. But I feel like with the Big 10, like Brandon, if I ask you right now, like who's going to win the Big 10, you're going to stick with Penn State, right?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And so like I still am going to stick with Michigan. And then Katie and Jack, like have y'all's opinions changed?
I'm further in on Penn State. I think
Right.
they've really done a great job, and Drew Aller has really taken care of business. Obviously, the big games are going to be the teller of him, but they've really done a good job. I mean, the Illinois game wasn't pretty, but they still won it by, I think, 20 points. So,
Like I feel like our minds are made up, or like we're kind of like drawing a line in the sand of who we think is going to win the Big 10. And that doesn't mean it's not going to be interesting. That doesn't mean that that's going to be the facts. But with the Pac-12, I feel like every time on Saturday nights when we sit up here, we could change our minds depending on what happens on the field.
I will say I've specifically about the Pac-12. I was too low on Washington. They look like a very, very good team, and I may have been a little bit too high on USC. So the Pac-12, you're right. I completely agree with that point. And Brandon, again, was right about Washington there.
Hey, listen, if we're going to start keeping score of Brandon there's right moments, we're going to run out of time on the show.
Brandon, I do have a question about that. Just to keep this in mind for this upcoming week.
Go, Casey.
Well, we are going on the road for the college football show this year.
Yes, Casey.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking up at you. Oh, yeah.
We are going on the show for the college football show this weekend. So
Sure.
that means we don't have a studio show
Right.
that we normally do when you can get your flowers. Are you going to try to get your flowers from Dave and Dan, even though we're on the road?
I'm going to get my flowers.
Okay.
I'm going to get my flowers.
Okay.
If I have to give them to myself, I will order them from a florist and send them to myself.
No. I can help set you up with that. It's not the same. You're not going to be able to get the same type of contrition that you would perhaps if we were in studio.
Well, first of all, Dave Portnoy doesn't know how to pronounce or define contrition. So
Fair.
Let's not even pretend we're going to get that. Okay. Secondly, Jack, I just saw a comment in the chat, and I want to see if you have seen this comment more. This is, so often we talk about things college football fans say and how tired we are of them, like rent free, you don't know ball, stuff like that. I got a third phrase that I've noticed more this year that I want to see if you guys have noticed. It's say something nice about blank. They'll show up and be like, say something nice about Spencer Rattler. Say something nice about Cam Ward was the chat I just saw. Say something nice about blank. Basically coming in and saying, hey, please stop what you're doing and talk about my team because I'm a whiny, needy bitch. Jack, have you seen that more this year?
There has been. The Saturday night, there was the same guy have Brandon say something nice about Spencer Rattler. This is just the everyone's so focused on nice. Guess what? Nice gets you failed societies, okay?
Yep.
So let's be honest. We spend way too much time on being nice. Oh, we have to be nice. Companies fall with being nice, okay? So I don't need to sit here and be nice to your college football quarterback, okay?
Right.
Love it, Jack.
Right. And nobody's having to say nice things about Caleb Williams. Nobody's having to say nice things about these top-level quarterbacks. If your quarterback is good every single week, the nice things are going to come. Quit begging for somebody to suck Spencer Rattler.
And we did say something nice about Cam Ward on Saturday night. We said he's amazing. You said something nice about him earlier.
Cam Ward is amazing. Yeah, he's fantastic.
Cam Ward's great. And by the way, we do have an episode. I don't remember what we call it. We call Hate Week, obviously Hate Week. But we have an episode where we say something nice, Respect Week, where we do say something nice about every team. It's just once a year. You listen to that episode. We'll say something nice.
Is this possible?
No. Unless,
He was a great father. He found ways to get to his son's high school games on Friday night before playing an SEC schedule, which he got swept in.
By the way, the downloads and views of Hate Week dwarf Respect Week by like 25-1. So just pointing out how it goes. Before we go any further, talking about something nice. Cars.com is the leading digital resource to go find your next possibility. Your car says so much about you. My car says I am a good-looking, handsome dude that likes to drive a Jeep. And if you want to make a statement about yourself, go buy the right car. How do you buy the right car? You find it on Cars.com. They help you find it. They help you research it. They help you finance it. Everything you can do to buy a car, they help you do it. They got over 50,000 cars uploaded daily. Over 2 million cars are on the site at all times. Everything about who you are or who you want to be can be portrayed in your car. Find your next possibility. Whoever you want to be, find that possibility on Cars.com. Cars.com, where to next?
I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to go get a car. We know this. We've talked about this.
I mean, it's crazy. You don't already. You have a child.
A child.
A full-blown child. And I will say that I walked said child to his school, and it was raining, and it was quite a hike. And I was like, I have to hold an umbrella in one hand, stroller in the other. If I just had a vehicle from Cars.com, I wouldn't be miserable right now. I wouldn't be crying.
Hey, Cars.com, let's get Casey a car.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, where to next? I'll tell you where to next. Casey's apartment building with her child, who's can probably drive by himself now.
And I know after last Monday, whenever it was mentioned that perhaps I would be a minivan person, my boyfriend said very adamantly, we are not minivan people, which I agree. No disrespect to minivans, but Cars.com, I need to find a parental acceptable car that's not a minivan.
All right. I guess I have one more, and then I'll turn it over to the chat, and we'll go chat run for the rest of the show. What was it? Oh, we kind of already answered that one. That was kind of repetitive. Do y'all want? Oh, who's the most disappointing team so far in football? I wrote down either Texas Tech or Clemson, but it could be other. There might be one I'm not thinking of. The chat might be able to help us. Who's the most disappointing team so far this season, Casey?
I'm sorry. I know that I shouldn't do this, but I got totally thrown off by some asshole in the chat saying that it's sad that my son is being taken care of under a year.
Let's move.
Okay.
Jack, who's the most disappointing team this season?
I agree with you on Texas Tech. Virginia Tech's up there. Also, I think Purdue's up there too. They've had a tough start. I know it's year one of Ryan Walters, but I think we expected a little bit more. 1-3. At least they do have one win. They did take care of Virginia Tech. So I guess Virginia Tech, man, they went into Marshall. They did not. They lost this weekend. They've lost almost every weekend. Bad Virginia Tech.
Casey?
I didn't hear the options. Can you repeat them, please?
The whole country is available to you. I mentioned
Okay.
Texas Tech, Clemson. He mentioned Purdue. He mentioned a couple others.
Most disappointing thus far. I mean, I'm going to just say, just from a what people expected standpoint, I think that it's Clemson. There are definitely teams that are much worse off, but I think Clemson fans losing 2 games in September, especially conference games in September, that's just not something that they're used to. So I'm going to go with Clemson. I think that they're out of the ACC race. Like, their playoff hopes were alive pretty late into the season last year, whether you agreed with that or not. They're dead, and it's not even October yet.
Katie?
I would say Oklahoma State, because they were my surprise team for the Big 12, and woof.
God,
yeah,
God.
I'm going to go with the Michigan State Spartans. While nobody expected them to win 10 games or anything, I think they expect Michigan State fans were hopeful they would at least level off and like go 6-6, 7-5, be a moderately successful Big Ten team. Instead, they're losing every weekend. They're not really even that competitive in some games, and they have no idea what the future holds. They're now going to be in a legal battle for the next 3 to 5 years. Like, Michigan State, all the hope is gone from the program, and it just all evaporated overnight. And I got to go Michigan State. All right.
Oklahoma State's a great answer, because, I mean, I don't think they can fire Mike Gundy, but, like, they got to do something.
So why couldn't they fire Mike Gundy?
I feel like I think that they could, but he's also been there for so long that he's one of those guys that's just kind of like.
I'm going to bring up a case study.
Okay.
TCU fired Gary Patterson.
That's true. That is true.
If there were reasons, Northwestern fired Pat Fitzgerald. The unfireable guys are never actually unfireable.
Pat Fitzgerald, again, like that's a different story where it was like, did we actually believe what was going on? Whatever. Like, if Mike Gundy, like, I feel like they would just like try to like reallocate his duties somewhere in the athletic department, just because he's been there for so long. But you're right. I mean, there's obviously guys that have done the opposite, and it's not like he's won a national title, like a Mac Brown situation or somebody else where they could just like move him away, but they've got to do something.
Dave Cutcliffe at Duke too.
Oh, did they fire him? Yeah, I guess they did. He just got so old.
That's one of those like retired like.
Yeah. Iowa's going to have to face this reality with Ferentz at some point too.
Who gets fired first, Brian Ferentz or like Mike Gundy?
Brian Ferentz is fired this year, I think, and I just don't see how they continue. Now, does Kirk Ferentz decide to go with him? Because I don't think Kirk Ferentz is fireable right now, but Brian Ferentz is. But does Kirk say "fuck y'all"? He gets buy one get 2 at the local Sonic. He's still on it? Son of a bitch.
Buy one, get 2. That's Brandon's dream.
God damn it. Sonic, the close. Now I got to look.
I've never been to Sonic. I still need to go.
Katie. Of
On.
all the things you've ever said, Brandon.
Shut up. Let her talk. What did you say?
I've never been to Sonic. They have none in New York City.
There's one in Paramus, New Jersey. It's in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey.
How far is that?
Is there not any in Carolina?
No, it was Cookout. If there was, I always went to Cookout instead.
There's Sonics all over North Carolina. All over it. Can't believe you never been to
Sonic Ice is.
I had my first.
The Sonic Ice is the best ice in the game. The tater tots are incredible. The burgers are good.
Better than Chick-fil-A ice.
Yes.
It's basically the same ice. Sonic's might be a little thicker, but it's basically the same ice.
All right.
I think Sonic's is better just because it's like Sonic Ice. Like, you go to Chick-fil-A for other things, you don't go for the ice.
Chick-fil-A's ice melts faster than Sonic Ice. Sonic Ice sits there all day.
Katie, you can go to Sonic and just to buy the ice. Like, you can, like, they have like an ice thing where you just go and get a bag of ice for your.
Closest one to me is 46 miles away.
Jesus. And you still go, don't you?
I haven't been yet, but I will go to that Sonic within the next week. That is my promise to you.
What's the longest you've been between Sonics?
We're probably in it right now because I left New Jersey in June and I haven't been to one. You know what? I'm lying. When I wrecked my car, going south a couple of weeks ago. I stopped at Sonic on the way down and the way back. So yeah, same Sonic actually in Martin, Tennessee, where UT Martin is. All right. So now we turn it over to the chat. Smitty 2.0 says Brandon is built like a man fueled by Sonic. So we no longer turn it over to the chat because they're a bunch of cunts. All right. 5-minute breakdown of Louisiana Tech versus Utah. Okay. Well, I promise never to talk about Miners on screen again because I got in trouble the last time. So if you guys want to talk about them, you can. Oh, did y'all not find out about that?
No, I haven't. I don't know anything about that joke.
Oh, okay. All right.
I
James Franklin finally shake the bad record against top 10 teams this year? I say yes.
I say no.
I think he beats Michigan, loses to Ohio State.
So you think that it's truly going to be like where do you think it's going to be like they all beat each other?
I think that's the most likely scenario. I think they're all good. I think they're all very good. I think it'll be 3 low-scoring games, and I like the home team in all 3 of them.
That's incredible entertainment. I don't know. I would have said before Ohio State beat Notre Dame, I was more on the side that Penn State would beat Ohio State, which could still happen. But I don't know. I think I have a James Franklin block in my head, which he can prove me wrong, obviously, this year. But I'm going to say no to that answer.
Who's your pick to win the Pac-12 right now? Giant Raiden Knight.
I have Washington.
Which is bullshit. It's frankly bullshit.
Why?
Because you had USC at the beginning, I had Washington, and you jumped to my side after you saw them play.
You were right before me, but like, what are we not supposed to evolve our takes after watching football?
No, you got to, and your team hasn't lost yet. You can't evolve until they lose.
I've watched USC play. Now, I still think that there's a chance USC can play. I'm not like disrespecting USC, but Washington has been killing people. I think Oregon's not a bad answer either. Oregon, Washington, USC, one of those is a great answer. Washington's looked the best.
By the way, you just pissed off Utah fans.
Okay,
I'm rolling with Oregon.
All right. Katie?
I initially had USC, and I'm also changing away from it. Whether it's officially Oregon or Washington, today it's Washington. Tomorrow
Brandon,
might be.
We're allowed to do that.
No,
you
really shouldn't be able to. You really shouldn't be able to. The rules of the show should be if you make a pick the beginning of the year to win the conference, they got to at least lose before you say you were wrong.
I'm not saying I'm wrong.
You've definitely done this yourself.
What will it take for you to admit maybe you gave Rattler unnecessary criticism, buried him too early? He's been in college for like 5 years, dude.
Colin Anderson, I never knew South Carolina fans were the whiniest.
I told you this.
Bitchiest. Like, you guys just go around sucking people's dick to be nice to Spencer Rattler. What will it take to be nice to Spencer Rattler? First of all, Jaden Daniels threw for 9 miles against us last week. We don't have a good defense. Spencer Rattler is a good average to slightly above average college quarterback, but he's got more bad games in college than he has good games. So if you South Carolina fans want to walk around and say, oh, why don't you be nice to Spencer Rattler? Why don't you be nice to him when your ass goes 6-6 this year, you whiny fucks? Okay. Where am I?
I've said multiple times, Spencer Rattler's a drug that I can't quit. I feel like I've quit him.
I don't think
he was great against us, and he has great games occasionally, but he doesn't have enough of them. Go.
I don't think Minnesota should give up on PJ Fleck. These games are not great reflections of him. That being said, he's really done a great job. I would say that hire so far has been a B+. And if this was year 10 and this was happening, maybe. But also, I mean, let's see the rest of the season because the Big Ten West is a little down. Let's see how he finishes. If he doesn't get to a bowl game, then we can have a conversation.
Casey, can I just take a little time out right here?
Sure.
My mother is coming on Thursday. She's driving up. She's bringing my dog, okay?
Okay.
We're right in the middle of football season. I'm busy. She's FaceTimed me twice during the show. I'm thinking, oh, my God, is it an emergency? My dog's name is Sam, by the way.
Yes.
My mother texts me, write this down. Make sure you have it on Thursday. Sam eats Little Caesar dry food, either filet mignon or porterhouse flavor. Also, get me several cans of blue steak or beef wet food cans. Also, a water bowl. Very important. Do not deviate from my instructions.
I love your mom so much.
It's really nice to hear. Like, I mean, you know, like my mom would send me that same text. I hope like she's still alive when I'm older and she's driving my dog up at one point to send that text because that's like, it doesn't change.
That's just a mom text. Like, I don't know. hopefully your mom didn't, have somebody else take care of you when you were
Brandon, here's a
younger.
good.
My mom lives in a double wide trailer and the dog eats filet mignon.
She's taking care of her.
Go ahead. What?
This is another. Brandon was right. Auburn's offense with Hugh Freeze, the offensive mastermind, looks. I mean, Texas A&M's great.
You know why Auburn can't complete a forward pass? Because Lane Kiffin cucked him because he was being a dick because he wanted to cuck Hugh Freeze, and he took Spencer Sanders off the market when Sanders could have been the perfect quarterback for Auburn. It's one of the great chess moves of all time in the offseason. Lane Kiffin didn't need Spencer Sanders. He convinced him to come to Ole Miss, so he couldn't go to Auburn, and he had to go get Peyton Thorne, who sucks. That's how the SEC works.
It was quite a move. And I will give credit to A&M's defense because it definitely got a lot better, but it's not like Peyton Thorne is Tyler Van Dyke.
Will it be Penn State or FSU in the national championship game? I mean, it very well could be.
Yep.
But listen, I'm going to say all the teams right now that could play in the national championship game. Are you ready? Okay. Georgia, Penn State, Texas, Florida State, Ohio State, Michigan, Washington, USC, Oregon, Notre Dame, Alabama. That's it. Did I get everybody? I think I got about 11 there.
I think that's fair. Like
any of those 11. Like I think Penn State can win the national title this year. I think the elite of the elite have fallen off enough to where it opens it up for the Texases and Penn States of the world. Georgia has come down a little bit. Alabama's come down. Ohio State is on that level. Like I think Penn State and Texas have squeezed up, and Notre Dame and a couple of others, and Florida State. I think it could be any of those.
Did you put Oregon in there?
I did.
What about Oklahoma?
I very much did not put Oklahoma there, and
right.
I laugh at the suggestion.
All right, I'm just.
Are you going to start evolving your take into Oklahoma? They're going to go 10-2 because their schedule's garbage, but they're not on the level of these other teams.
All right, I'm not. I'm just.
They couldn't score against Cincinnati. They couldn't score against SMU.
Now, Brandon, here's a hypothetical for you with that. Let's just say, and I know you don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Let's say they beat Texas. Okay, so obviously a very good win.
Beat Texas, everything changes.
If they make it to the end of the season, say that they lose to Texas again in the Big 12 championship, what do they do with Oklahoma?
They beat Texas, then lose to them in Big 12 championship?
That's their only loss.
Well, then they're out probably. I would imagine they're out. I mean, they'll be in the conversation, but I think there's going to be a logjam of one-loss teams this year, something that we didn't really have last year.
Brandon, you need to bring back the because list.
I always like to get about a month in, so next week the because list will come back.
Shout out!
This is a nice super chat.
Yes, thanks to Brandon Douglas for this nice comment. He's a very good person.
He said,
"Thank you. I graduated from Texas in 2020. Things have been tough since then. This podcast got me through it. Coming to Texas OU soon. Yeah, I would love to go to the Red River Shootout, but I don't know. We'll see.
We're not doing it this year for the college football show, but I know it's on the docket for next year. I don't know if that means we're going. But
OU is top 20 in offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. Oh, my God. They've been amazing against Arkansas State, Cincinnati, Tulsa, and SMU. My God, crown them. They should definitely be in the top 10. Fuck off. Let's see. What else? Do you think a Pac-12 team can have 2 losses and make the playoffs? I very much do not.
No. I know that we say this every year when we do when you look at what the 12-team playoff would look like. But this year, it looks awesome.
I have a comment on my comment of the show. This happened last week when Nebraska beat NIU, and somebody said, "Can Nebraska go 9-3?" And we were just like, "Are you serious? We got a good one here." Do you think West Virginia has a shot to sneak into the Big 12 title game? I think we'll have a 2-quarterback season, and Heisman hibernator TM. If we make that improbable run, it will be on CJ Donaldson's back. Why can't you guys just be happy with a good win?
College football fans don't know when to say when. It's like last year when Tennessee got good for the first time in a decade, it was, oh my God, college football is so lucky we're back. No, you were lucky you were back. And now, like anytime West Virginia, we expected them to suck this year. They're 3-1. Can they get to the Big 12 title game? No, they fucking can't. Sorry.
We already talked about Mizzou and LSU, Big D 6-7.
By the way, West Virginia fans, that is so prototypical college football fans, which is great. A month ago, we were talking about your head coach being fired before the end of September.
All right, what else? Yeah. Michigan defense overhyped due to playing crap teams in Rutgers. Also, Harbaugh back and they rushed for 200 yards. They have had some concerning lack of ability to run the football this year. Like Corum and Edwards haven't really done much this season yet. It's interesting to look at Michigan's kind of subtext of their season so far. This is the only non-Nebraska football-related podcast I listen to. What chance do you give Colorado upsetting USC this week? Whatever. Okay, divide 0 by 0, multiply it by 0, and then take a bunch off of that. That's. I'm not hating on Colorado, but USC is. If they couldn't stop Oregon, they ain't coming close to stopping USC.
This is very funny.
Now,
the Hill. What?
USC's defense is not as good as Oregon's defense. I will say that.
Won't need to be.
Just saying.
They could leave their defense in LA and be fine.
This is a really funny comment from Andrew Goffin. Jack hates West Virginia from childhood trauma from hillbillies taking over the rent. I will say I was introduced to hillbillies in a insane way when West Virginia used to come to Connecticut. Like I can envision their face. My small little brain couldn't wrap my head around the fact that all these fans came to UConn to watch the game from West Virginia. I would always ask my parents, why did they come? Why did they come? There was 10,000 of them. They would take over the stadium. They were hillbillies.
I was introduced to hillbillies at a family reunion.
You were introduced to hillbillies when you were conceived.
Correct. I was introduced inside of a hillbilly.
Be nice to your mother.
No, a great hillbilly.
Be
a great
nice
one.
to your mother.
Hillbilly ain't a bad.
Also, Mississippians aren't hillbillies. We're rednecks. There's a difference. Hillbillies, you got to get into Tennessee, Carolinas, Virginia.
You know,
Foreman's averaging 7 yards per carry. Yay! Foreman's averaging 7 yards per carry. Hooray! God damn, who are you playing? Has he played a live game yet? You're playing a scrimmage every fucking week.
This is where, like, I know that this we do this live on Mondays and we're going up against everybody, and like we'll have more people listen to it afterwards. Like you have to watch it to see what Brandon does, because what he just did was pure comedic timing, folks.
Blake Corum.
I don't know why this guy said North Alabama. Like, is he talking about the school that Terry Bowden coached?
Oh, maybe he's saying where hillbillies are from because they do start in North Alabama.
Brandon, I got asked on. I did like an Ask Me Anything on Instagram.
Also, that guy was lying. Hold on, Michigan fan, you lying piece of shit. Blake Corum is averaging 6.1 yards a carry, not 7. That's a big difference. He's at 350 yards on 58 carries. Nothing special so far against the worst part of their schedule. Go, Casey. Sorry.
No, I got asked what my favorite live college football show was, and I always say, like, I know the crowds have gotten a lot bigger since, but Mike Madison in 2019 was my favorite. I'll never forget the look on your face at West Virginia. You want to talk about some hillbillies? Like, when I think about the different places we've gone over the last 5 years, I think about your face in West Virginia.
Was it the hillbillies or the boobs that the face was made at?
A little bit both.
Probably both. I mean, Katie, there were people doing beer bongs out of an animal head, an actual animal head. That's
the only college football show I remember where they backed up trucks to tailgate. They backed up trucks to the stage.
Yeah, and also there were women, girls flashing the stage the whole time.
College football show in Ole Miss for the Egg Bowl. We need Brandon behind enemy lines. Well, that would be very dumb use of resources, considering the Egg Bowl is not at Ole Miss. It's at Mississippi State, where Mississippi State will win for the second straight year. Ain't no hillbillies here in East Tennessee. Samantha Bell, you lying motherfucker. I'm looking at one right now. Well, I'm looking at a lot of one, to be frank. Sorry. Hey, relax.
No, listen, you go after the chat. After that guy tried to shame somebody else having to help me take care of my kid, like, I'm out.
Is Penix your Heisman favorite at this point, Ethan Kane? I think he should be everybody's Heisman favorite at this point. Now, at this point, doesn't matter much because we're only a third of the way through the season, and there's a lot of big games with a lot of good quarterbacks. But I think if you just to a man said who's performed the best out of every quarterback in this country, Michael Penix is number one.
Look at Samantha Bell, though. She's taken the comments in stride.
Because that's not Samantha Bell. That's a dude pretending to be Samantha Bell. That's a dude with like 6 followers in East Tennessee in a trailer park saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get Brandon Walker to talk about me." In and Out says, "Bye guys, I love you. Thank you for doing." I guess In and Out's leaving. So, well, his name is In and Out, so that makes sense.
I'm hoping that he means the burger place, which is also very good. I do want to, I know I did this last week, and Brandon, you reminded me, I need to say thank you to all the people that are watching right now, but we had great numbers on Saturday night, and people love that we go live on Saturday night.
Huge numbers.
And I love it. I love being live with
Yeah.
the chat. And now they're mean sometimes, but that's okay. We can take it.
Like the video.
Madison Bruton says Brandon is my favorite ass. Oh, hey girl. How you doing?
Oh, she looks really cute.
Does
I like
she?
your lipstick, girl.
I don't know. She looks like a Georgia fan, so I'm out on her. But
That's maroon. It could be.
No, I think it's Oklahoma.
I was about to say that looks like Oklahoma. The helmet in the back.
So
Is that a helmet?
Georgia
the
fans
chest
of the
that she's
heartland.
on has an OU logo.
No, Madison, thank you very much for watching, Madison. And hey, girl, how you doing? Does Casey still have her butt? Good question. Good question. Does Casey, J Floyo 11, does Casey still have her butt? Well, I'm not aware where it would have gone. So
What?
maybe that's a question for Casey.
Like just spelling my name wrong? Like, yeah.
Wait,
Oklahoma.
he asked about, hold on, Katie. Got it. He asked about your ass, and the only problem you have with it is he spelled your name wrong?
Well, he was polite. He said butt.
Okay. Huh.
I love that like we're doing like a live chat on a Monday night, just talking some college football, and this man comes in and wants to know if I still have a butt.
We'll go 5 more minutes, and we'll end right at 8 o'clock Eastern. But why the pink brush, Brandon? And well, first of all, where did all the women come from? Hello, India Sorrels. I have a wife and a daughter, and every brush here is pink. So if I need a brush, it's going to be pink. So sorry.
And also, Katie and I asked the exact same thing before we started going live, so it's a fair question.
You know what? I need a brush, and
Well, there's nothing wrong
You
with
don't brush
pink.
cream.
huh?
Nothing wrong with pink.
All
Yeah.
right. Who wins the
Barbie.
Milton Rattler Bowl this weekend? I'm surprised Tennessee's that big of a favorite. They're like 11.5, 12.5 point favorites. I don't think South Carolina's very good. I don't think they're going to have a winning record at all anytime this season. I think Tennessee's probably better. I don't think Tennessee's all that good either. So I think like the line is weird to me. Whatever.
I think it's going to be Tennessee. Although it could be one of those things where I keep talking about the Spencer Rattler drug and he goes out and throws like 6 touchdowns and then I'm back on that.
Timeout. Hold on. I got to read this one. Eddie Ferguson. There's nothing that college football fans won't be sensitive about. I just got to. Okay, let me read this.
Thank you.
Eddie Ferguson says, as a massive Notre Dame fan, I appreciate you guys always being very neutral. Notre Dame gets hated on for strength of schedule. And everything you've written so far is true. That Notre Dame does get unfairly hated on for its schedule, and it does get unfairly hated on. And we are, well, you say we're neutral. I've been pro Notre Dame since this podcast started. But then you said Notre Dame gets hated on for strength of schedule and not being a historic program. You name me one person in the country that said Notre Dame isn't a historic program. Where has that ever happened? Where has anybody said, you know what the bad thing about Notre Dame is? They've sucked forever. They've never been good. They're not a historic program. That's a lie. That's a fib. That's a falsehood. That's gobbledygook is what that is.
I think if you wanted to say that they've been getting hated on for making it to, the national championship or the playoff and embarrassing themselves, like, yeah, because that's been the case. But I think even if you want to make fun of them for that, nobody's ever said it's not a top, like, quote, brand of college football, as cliche as that is.
I think they've been getting hated on for being too much of a historic program. Like their success is too far in the past. Notre Dame backed out of the Michigan series like cowards after historically something Michigan coaches. Michigan can't say anything about anybody ever backing out of a series after you backed out of UCLA the last 2 years and played a bunch of soft teams. So Michigan can't say that. Freelance Society paid $4.99 to say, are you surprised about the line for Texas and Kansas going to the game? Well, I'll tell you what. I am a little bit surprised about the Texas-Kansas line. The thing about the Texas-Kansas line is it's a point spread, and it's meant for gamblers to bet on said point spread, meaning it's a number that they set, and that way that you can know who you're betting on and what number that it is that you're betting. And, of course, the Texas-Kansas line, as we all know, that's something that we all know. That's just a fact. It's 17 right now. Texas favored by 17. Kansas still doesn't really have a defense. So I guess I'm not really surprised by it. Which is higher Saturday. Whatever. Penn State still has 0 turnovers going into week 5. That would scare me to death if I was Penn State. I would not like that stat. I wouldn't like that stat at all.
No, because eventually
trying for a 4 fumble game to fuck you up.
Eventually that is going to end. And the longer you wait, the harder it hurts.
That's what she said.
Is it?
That's why I was wondering.
Katie's head tilt. Sometimes when she processes what you say, Brandon, her head tilt is just perfect.
Hey, settle down. Does that look right? Settle down, Katie.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, look. Point down.
I'm pulling. Where did Michigan hurt you, Brandon? This guy's the worst guy that's ever followed us. This guy's a fucking
I
idiot.
didn't even realize it was.
This
Brad.
guy's a fucking idiot. He shouldn't be allowed on this chat.
No.
He's a moron. He's a fucking borderline stalker. That guy shouldn't be in this chat. Fuck that guy forever.
Brandon.
No, fuck
nice.
that guy. That guy's a fucking loser. Guy posts pictures of his jet skis online. Tell you about that guy. Brandon, thoughts on Whataburger? I fucking love it.
These are awesome.
No, they're not. The only one that's good is Wayne. Brandon,
Don't
thoughts
be
on
mean.
Whataburger? I think it's wonderful. In fact, no, Katie, shut the fuck up. When we were in Tucson, I was driving Katie and Casey to the airport, and we didn't know where we were going to eat. We saw a Whataburger. It was like the heavens opened up, and I was so excited. And then I threw up a couple of minutes later. But at the time, I was excited.
Brandon was not just excited. It was like, I mean, there was an audible gasp, and he was like, Katie, shut up. Look. And it was the Whataburger sign. Katie, I do think that we need to reintroduce you to it. Not when it's been like cold sitting in the car on the way to the airport. Like you need to like sit in there, get the trays.
You were tired.
I do think Whataburger's overrated though.
In-N-Out is the best in my opinion.
No, God.
Preach, Katie.
First of all, let me tell you guys something, okay? You can talk about your Whataburgers, you can talk about your In-N-Outs, but when it comes to regional burger chains, I got to put on for my boys at Culver's. I don't know how often you guys have been to the Midwest. Culver's is a motherfucker now. Culver's is so good. Everything they got's good. The burgers, the butter burgers, the fucking cheese curds. Culver's is fucking amazing.
Jack, don't put that on the screen. Jack got so excited.
Culver's is shit.
I've never
Culver's is
been to
better than Whataburger and In-N-Out. I said it. Tell them I
The
said
cheese curds are great.
Now, I think this might be a controversial take, but like
I've never had Culver's.
Jack, if you ever come out to Chicago, and I assume at some point you will, and I know you're excited to come out to Chicago.
Yeah, I would love to. I'll bring my bring my bullet.
Okay, Jack. Okay.
I like Wendy's.
What? That's just like saying I like McDonald's. Like what?
No,
like,
it's
what's that
not.
mean?
That's like I'm going clothes shopping. I like Walmart. Come on,
Yeah.
Casey.
What?
Like Frosties and that's it. Maybe chicken nuggets.
No, I will say
Wendy's burgers are good.
They're square. They're square ass burgers. Do they still make square burgers?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. I've seen a few people say it. Like people think that I'm a gigantic traitor for not liking Whataburger burgers. I will say Whataburger's breakfast, elite. The
Hold on.
taquitos and the cheese. Oh, that's my favorite.
Jack skipped one. Jack, you didn't pull out the one that said Jack's hairstyle is for libs.
I was gonna put that up, but then it like went away. Let me put it up just for
Just for
That was
shits and
pretty good.
giggles.
Eddie Reyna. Oh, this is like my Brad Rittenhouse. Like he said some really mean things to me in the DMs, but he's a USC fan, I think, if I recall.
Oh, he's probably been mean to me then.
Yeah, he said some like really
USC
mean
fans,
stuff
by the
to
way,
me.
are shockingly mean.
USC.
Well, they're
fans?
LA. They're like they're libs. Like
Jack.
LA.
I think if this chat went to like 7:15, Jack would just go full blown political. Just it turned into a political chat.
I'd just be yelling about like Travis Kelce's Pfizer commercial.
All right, I think that's a good place to end. Everybody can go watch Monday Night Football. Everybody still download the podcast.
Everyone is mean. Grow a sack. Thank you, Seymour.
College football. I hate like this.
You just quoted Seymour Heinies, Casey.
Seymour Heinies, yeah. Go
Way to go, Casey.
go
to Seymour Heinies.
go to
I
Wendy's.
didn't even put that together.
You can ask the Wendy's get a square burger and a cup of chili.
Yep, a cup of chili. Yeah, a 4 for $4, whatever they have over there.
Oh my God.
All right, we're gonna end it right there.
All right.
We'll
Thanks,
be back. Well, our
everybody.
preview episode will be not live, but it will be available on Wednesday.
Like
And
the
we're
chat,
at-
like the stream.
Like, subscribe, all that. Me and Casey are headed to Nebraska this Saturday. So if you're in Nebraska, if you're a Nebraska fan, or if you're a Michigan fan making the trip, I bet old Tittenhouse over there will do it. We're headed to Nebraska. Come see us. We'll be. I don't know where we'll be actually. Have we even announced where we'll be? I'm sure we
Yeah,
have.
we've announced it. I don't have it in front of me. The address is out there. We did it on the college football show last week, but it'll be all over the internet. You people are on the internet as you watch or listen to this, so you can find it.
All right.
Where-
All right. That is unnecessary roughness.